It is easy to think that our culture is the norm and standard for all other cultures around the world. This, however, is not the case. In fact, it is this particular thought process that tends to result in offensive behavior to those who may not share the same cultural norms as we do. Let me illustrate and explain to you a few ways in which the Japanese culture differs from the American culture. Japan is an Eastern country that was under imperial rule and in isolation from the rest of the world for many years. America, on the other hand, is a Western country that was built on the hope of freedom and equality for all. The American society is labeled as an individualistic society. This is an I-conscious society, which means individuals look out for their own well-being and tend to make decisions without considering how their choices might affect those around them. In an individualistic society, a person's personal goals come before those of the group. The Japanese culture, however, is a collectivist society, which is a we-conscious society. This means that the Japanese people place the feelings and goals of the entire group before their own. In a collectivist society, there is a strong sense of group and belonging. The approach to power is yet another area where the Japanese and American culture differ. Power distance is the degree in which power is allowed to be distributed unevenly in a culture. In the Japanese culture, a higher ranking of power distance is present. This means that the Japanese people are more tolerant of hierarchical structures and are more likely to listen to those viewed as superior. Americans, on the other hand, have a short tolerance for power distance and believe that everyone deserves the same sort of equal treatment. Uncertainty avoidance is a society's tolerance for ambiguity. In the Japanese culture, there is a strong uncertainty avoidance. This is because the Japanese prefer a more structured and assured way of living. Americans, on the other hand, have had weak uncertainty avoidance because they are more willing to take risks and do not require 100% probability that something will either occur or work out. Masculinity versus femininity is the distribution of values between the genders. In Japan, masculinity runs high. This is a more assertive kind of society which is driven by competition, achievement, and success. In this type of society, gender roles are distinct. Men focus on material success while women focus on the quality of life. In the American society, masculinity is not as high as that of Japan, however, it is ranked as moderately high. In feminine societies, social gender roles overlap. An example of this would be stay-at-home dads that exist in America. Individualism versus collectivism, power distance, uncertainty avoidance, and masculinity versus femininity are just a few of the ways in which the Japanese and American culture vary. It is from culture to culture, and that in order to respect each other, we must be knowledgeable. If I had to learn one thing in studying intercultural communication this semester that I see benefited me in the future in communicating with people from other cultures in general, it would be the knowledge is number one key to successful intercultural communication. If we all take the time to research the cultures of those we interact with, we would have much more fruitful outcomes when communicating.